Hey, alright, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory. Call Allah Yom La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the sincere apostles and elders of a great millstone who are my teachers. And peace and salutations to you brothers out there preaching this word in truth and sincerity. This is your brother Yahweh Sap with another lesson. And today, just going to be going into signs of the times. All right, because we're definitely in the end days, man. It's only becoming more and more manifest. You know, as the scriptures say, everything is becoming a lot more clear to see and line up with the scriptures. I have a couple news articles I want to grab for you brothers and you sisters out of Juan Radazah. This lesson is edifying and uplifting of the spirit. But for my first article I have here, it says powerful earthquake rocks Spain as terrified tourists flee hotels and roads ripped apart after 13 tremors hit. And so you had these earthquakes, these tremors that hit Spain, and this happened yesterday, maybe 2 days ago. But you're having earthquakes in diverse places, man, and this isn't the only place, as we're about to get into, that has seen an earthquake. All right, then you got fires all over the world, man. You got wars, rumors of wars. It's definitely biblical times that we're in. All right, and so which really, when you think about it, we've always been in biblical times, right? But it says a state of emergency has been declared in the southern city of Granada after buildings collapsed and rocks crushed cars, sending terrified locals and tourists running from their homes and rented accommodation. And you take a look at these pictures, man. This you can see these buildings collapsing. Cars being torn up. All right, people sitting outside. All right, scared, man. Look at the earth literally opening up, man. And so it says panic broke out as the horror tremor struck and was then followed by 12 others. Jaw-dropping footage on social media showed chaos unfolding at around 1 a.m. local time, including tourists rushing to the street clutching suitcases. Homes and cars were heavily damaged, with some roads seen split in half by cracks caused by the powerful jolt. It says on Andalusian emergency services have rescued a number of people from damaged buildings. And you take a look, just off of the pictures that they're posting, it's a lot of damage that has been done, right? And so it says that the tremor was felt across Andalusia and as far as Madrid, with locals reporting shakes in Malaga, Sevilla, Cordoba, Jaén. If I'm pronouncing these names correctly, Salakia, if I'm butchering it. It says and Almeria. It says Antonio Sanz Cabello, vice president of the Andalusian government, said that authorities had declared an emergency. If you are in Granada, you have felt the earthquake, you are okay, and your home shows no damage. Stay calm and avoid entering and exiting buildings unnecessarily, he wrote on X. And so pretty much, they're going through crisis, but this is all according to prophecy that earthquakes will be felt, in diverse places, right? So let's grab this in the book of Second Ezra, chapter 9 and verse 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And when you read the scriptures, the Lord visits the earth through thunders, all right, through lightnings, all right. Actually, let me actually see if I can get it real quick in Isaiah. I don't want to write it down. I'm thinking of the correct precept. Right, Isaiah 29 and verse 6. It says, thou shalt be visited of Yahweh of hosts with thunder and with earthquake and great noise, with storm and tempest and the flame of devouring fire. So this is the time that we're in is the time that the Lord is visiting the earth, man. And he's visiting through flame, tempest, earthquakes. All right. And the scriptures tell us how these things were made to appease the wrath of him that made them. Matter of fact, let me grab that as well. All right. Because this is all the doing of the Heavenly Father. All right. These aren't just some random events that are randomly taking place by coincidence in accordance with the Bible. No, this is the word of the Heavenly Father that he is bringing to pass. All right. So this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, otherwise known as Sirach, chapter 39. And I'm going to start at verse 28. And it says, there be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sword strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hell and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. They shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is. And when their time is come, they shall not transgress his word. And so there you go. So we're in the time that the Lord is visiting the earth, man. All right. And it's only going to escalate. You're going to see things continue to wax worse and worse. All right. And so it says back in 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse, I'll read verse 2 again. It says, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. So these things have been prophesied about since the beginning. All right, and now we're seeing it happen. And let me say it like this: we're seeing it play out in real time. All right, earthquakes, famines, all right, death, uproars of the people. This is all taking place right now, like as we speak. All right, so let me grab a couple more articles. All right, because you had a earthquake also hit Indonesia, right? And so it says Indonesian rescuers rush to save earthquake victims trapped in the rubble after 7.7 magnitude tremor collapses buildings as death toll rises to 51 and thousands evacuated. So you're having people get killed, all right, being injured, buildings collapsing, earthquakes just randomly happening, man. All right, let's check this out just out of curiosity. So far, you've had a total of about 272 earthquakes just this year alone. You know, and that's just what has been recorded. You feel me? We don't know exactly how many there have been, you know. But you have these massive earthquakes that have been happening all over the place. All right, you've had earthquakes here in Texas. You got wildfires over there in Washington, in Oregon, which we're about to get into. You know, but this is all the doing of the Heavenly Father. So real quick, let me jump to the book of Amos real quick. So this is the book of Amos chapter 3 and verse 6. It says, shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city and Yahweh had not done it? And so there you go. So the Heavenly Father is the one that's orchestrating these things to happen because he said these things were going to happen from the beginning, as we read in 2nd Ezra 9. All right, so let me grab this other thing here, right? It says wildfire updates. Let's see. Austin fire grows to over 2,000 acres, crosses Clackamas River. You know, and I'm going to actually get a video real quick. That way you can see.
But first, an update on these monstrous wildfires that continue burning hundreds of thousands of acres in our state. We want to send things over to Fox 13's Sam Campbell, live in the newsroom. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, Abby. Yeah, we're still waiting on some new numbers this morning, so some of these updates are still from last night, but let's get into it. Right now, no huge fire danger from the weather today, so that's good, but still no significant precipitation in the near future. Let's go through some of the fires now. We'll get through some of the worst of them out of the way early. These numbers from egpwildfiresa.gov. Here's the Little Giant fire near Chelan, burning at more than 128,000 acres. That's 10% containment there, and more than 2,000 firefighters and other personnel assigned to fight this one. Up north near the border, we are still following the Sinlahican fire, 150,000 acres now, but the good news is that containment there is at 42%. 1,700 personnel are fighting that fire. On Mount Rainier, take a look at this video. We are still following the Grand Park 2 fire burning near sunrise. This one popped up last weekend and stuck around completely uncontrolled for some time. But the good news is crews are making some headway there. Now 31% containment at last check, only 167 acres burning. And if you remember how destructive the Kaiser Canyon fire has been on the Colville Reservation, it has burned 138,000 acres, costing an estimated $48.6 million in damage. Good news again, that one is up to 82% contained. And air quality remains a tale of two sides of the mountains. Here on the west side, minimal pollution today, but our friends across the mountains over near Leavenworth really struggling today. The air quality index on purpleair.com says it was 1,000 as of about an hour ago. Abby?
And so you got a lot that's going on, man. And this is just the nature side of things that are happening. All right, everything is taking place according to the word of the Heavenly Father. All right, and then you got uproars of the people. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I saved it. But you have, let me just look it up. You got these sailors, these families of sailors denouncing Trump and Hegseth for dismissing their experiences and calling them liars. Because recently, if you don't know, you've had sailors jumping over the they're going overboard, trying to jump overboard off the boat, that they're on, or the ship that they're on, because of the living conditions that are there. They're being attacked every day. They don't have good food. All right, and when Hegseth was questioned about it, he was all drunk, and so pretty much what Hegseth had told everyone was that no, everyone's fine. We have psychologists on the ships, and the food's good. We make sure to give our sailors our military, should I say, the best food that there is, this, that, and the third, man. But it's all being found out to be lies. And so people are they're upset about it. And not only about this is just one small thing. There's a lot that's going on. It says naval families with loved ones deployed for months on U.S. warships amid the Iran war have reacted with fury to Donald Trump and the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's dismissal of their concerns about the extreme pressures and dire conditions they are enduring. And why is that? Because they're looking to implement their NWO at the end of the day. All right, people are finding out more and more that they got set up for the okie doke. When Trump got in office, he made all these promises, and not one of them has he kept. And that's actually, I was just watching a lesson from the Elder Yashawama going into that, how he hasn't kept not one promise. He said that gas was going to be $2. All right, he said he was going to end the war with Russia and Ukraine in 24 hours. All right, there was a lot of promises that he had made, more jobs for Americans. Meanwhile, jobs are actually, people are losing their jobs, man. All right, you got what's a few other, he promised stimulus checks, $2,000, and then he bumped it up to $5,000. And when asked about it, he didn't remember that he said these things. So there's a lot that's going on, man. And these people, here in America that love it here, hey, they're getting pissed off, and so very soon you're going to see the uprising of the people, the uproars of the people, man. And people are already talking about what is it called, a revolution, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm thinking of the correct word. They're talking about a revolution, and they're talking about uproars. All right, sedition. All right, taking out their government. Something needs to be done. All right, and then you also have these Epstein files that have been being made out, and hey, people are losing their minds, man. So let's jump back to the book of 2nd Ezra 9. All right, because this is all playing out in real time. 2nd Ezra 9 and verse 5. It says, "For like all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest," meaning seen clearly. It says, "Even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works, and endings in effects and signs." And you just actually, right before that earthquake hit Spain, you had a solar eclipse. So you're seeing the effects and the signs right before you. All right. And it says, verse 7, and every one that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed. So the only ones who are going to escape the judgment that's coming upon the earth are going to be the elect remnant and the 1/3. All right. You got the 144,000 of the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians. All right. And the 1/3 of the nation of Israel that are going to be preserved from these said perils. All right, it said, verse 8, the spirit shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. So just like the Lord had ordained that America was going to be destroyed, that all these signs would take place before its destruction, he also ordained that there was going to be an elect remnant that he was going to preserve to be saved. All right. And so it says in verse 9, then shall they be in pitiful case, which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. And that's exactly what we're seeing coming upon the people, is that they are in a pitiful case. All right, what's that in the book of, I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm remembering correctly, might be 1 Thessalonians. Let me see, Salakia. Oh, it's not accidentally. 2 Timothy, Salakia. So this is the book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3 and verse 1. And it says, this know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. And when you grab that word perilous, which we're going to go ahead and grab, it means full of danger, risky, all right, involving exposure to death or destruction or injury, also spiritually dangerous. And why is that? Because the word of the Heavenly Father is going to be hid. All right. And so you're seeing that these last days full of danger, risky. Everything that you do can get you killed, man. You go into the grocery store shopping for some groceries. If that's the last piece of bread that you're taking, hey, someone who's very desperate, they'll go ahead and kill you, man. Take it, steal it, whatever they have to do, and so you're risking your life just even going to work, and that's the times that we're in. So let me read this again. 2 Timothy 2 and 2 Timothy 3 and verse 1. It says, this know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy. And this is what you see, man. All right, this is what you see all throughout the world. Matter of fact, I was just looking at an article of this guy complaining about this. All right, he was seeing how people, I don't know if you brothers and sisters have heard of needles, but people are going crazy over it. So let's check this out real quick. Right, America's retail workers are leaving, and it's not just about the pay. It says retail workers across the country are dealing with more than low wages and unpredictable schedules, as rising workloads, tighter staffing, and increasingly tense interactions with customers are making the job harder to sustain. All right, people are losing their fucking minds, man. All right, over toys, over all manner of shit that doesn't matter. All right, they're not paying attention to the evil that's happening around them. They're getting upset about these toys that they're not able to get because of the trucks. But these trucks, man, these drivers are losing their jobs, being replaced by AI. All right, you're having a shortage of food, a shortage of supplies. All right, because of this war that's happening in Iran, and it's only getting worse. All right. And so it says, 2 Timothy 3 and verse 3, it says, without natural affection, truce bakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. And that's right. So very soon you're going to have the insurrection upon the men and women that fear the Heavenly Father. All right. And that's prophesied about in 2 Ezra 16. It says, verse 4, traitors, heedy, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. And so this is the type of life that we're experiencing in these last days. you know. And then I was also wanting to grab this in Isaiah 19, all right, because you have this man Trump and Salakia, if I'm going by real fast, but this man Trump, all right, he told you people that he will never apologize, all right, for soaring gas prices, right? So here this article says Trump tells hardworking Americans he'll never apologize for soaring gas prices. It says President Donald Trump vowed to never apologize for high gas prices across the country spurred by his war against Iran. It says as he highlighted his record on crime and safety during a visit to New York on Friday in a rally at the Nassau County Police Academy in suburban Long Island, Trump claimed he did the right thing by attacking Iran. It says, so for you to pay a tiny little bit more for your gasoline, just remember, you're doing it so that a very evil country cannot have a country. Really, it's the #1 state sponsor of terror in the world. We don't want to have them have a nuclear weapon, the president rambled. And people are not taking this president serious anymore, man. Anything he can say, he says, can be a lie or a truth. You never know. All right, you never know what's going on inside that man's head, ultimately because you people were given over to a cruel Lord. All right. And so it says, so remember that when you have to pay a little bit more, your $4, it's okay. I'll never apologize. I did the right thing, he added. And man, he also goes into I don't know if it was this rally, but he also went into how they're not able to pay, or they're not able to give out free healthcare or anything like that. Let me see if I can find that. All right, you got people people not being able to grocery shop anymore, food supply chain shutting down. We're definitely in the end times, man. All right, let me see. I was looking at an article. Yeah, I might not have been reading it on here. I don't want to write as I could find it and go into it. I'm actually wanting to do a lesson on it, because if you were to just have a jubilee here in America, pertaining to Leviticus 25, you wouldn't have as much debt. All right, it would be a lot easier to sustain this country. But because these people who rule this world right now, man, these devils, they're not ever going to be sons of the Heavenly Father. They will never follow the law of the Heavenly Father. And two, because of their love for money, they're going to commit evil. They're going to make you pay for air, for water, for food. All right, for the things that were freely given of the earth, they're going to make you pay for. All right, so this is the book of Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 1. It says, the burden of Egypt, behold, Hadawan Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And that's going to happen very soon. You're going to have civil war break out here in America, because you're going to have people that still agree with the U.S. government, and you're going to have people that don't, plain and simple. It says, verse 3, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to the wizards. So they're going to be going to the stockbrokers. All right, they're going to be going to their doctors. All right, and just seeing how they can escape the judgment of the Heavenly Father, and also how they can stay rich through all this chaos. All right. And so it says, verse 4, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith Yahweh, Hadawan Yahweh of hosts. And that's right. So a fierce king is going to rule over them. And let's grab that word cruel in the etymology. All right. It means stern, of suffering death, attended by much distress, inclined or willing to make another suffer, disposed to inflict suffering, mental or physical, on any sentient being. So this cruel Lord, all right, does not care about you having to pay higher prices for gas. He doesn't care that the gas prices went up from $2 to $5, $6, $7. All right, and that's a major jump. You're paying $20 to fill up one day, and then next week, you're having to pay $60 to $80 to fill up. And I know truckers, truck drivers who have had to pay thousands of dollars to get their tank filled up. Or I might be exaggerating. It might have been just hundreds, but that's the type of world that we're living in, man. So this is where we're at. All right, it's only going to get worse, man. You're going to have more and more people get angry about the situations that are going on, not just across seas, all right, but here in America. All right, and people are going to start fighting against their congressmen. All right, there's possibly could be assassination attempts on their own president. Who knows? But we do know, according to the scriptures, that there's going to be sedition among men because of great tribulation and for the lack of bread. All right, and they're going to blame the people who are in charge. All right. And a lot of you Israelites who know that you're Israelites, and even those of us who go out there and we preach, all right, we prophesy in the name of Yahweh B'Shem Shai, we're gonna be blamed for the evil that's going on as well. All right. And so just keep these things in mind as you're going throughout your daily life, man, is that we're living in the midst of prophecy. All right. The end is manifest. There's a lot that's going on. Salakia, I know I moved a little quick through this lesson, but there's a lot to cover. So just keep your eye on the goal, which is ultimately salvation. All right, from the evil that's taking place, man. We're not only called, but we're chosen because we see how much worse this world is waxing. And so once again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. Call Allah Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. Until the next time I say Shalom.